Alrighty, we are live. So, welcome to my live in which I'll be talking about stress. I'm talking about stress because this topic is very important for me just because as a wellness coach, as a RN, I have seen both personally and professionally how stress really plays a part in our mental, emotional, and physical health. And I think we have gotten so accustomed to saying, oh, I'm stressed out, this is stressing me out. And we're like just using that word as like a way to describe how we're feeling, but we're not doing anything about it. So I just want to spend a few minutes talking about stress. Please feel free to mention or ask anything in the comments. And if you are tuning in right now, I want to ask you, what when you think about the word stress, what do you think about? If you could drop that in the comments, I would appreciate it because I think we all kind of know what stress means, but we may have different understandings of it. So I just want to get a understanding from you. What do you think stress is? So I this is the second live I've done. My goal is to do one for every Wellness Wednesday, and I may extend it past February because my initial goal was to do it in February, but I may extend it because when we talk about stress, there's just so much, and it's not just about like I definitely want to bring education, I want to bring information, but I also want to make it more personal because we can know what it is, what it can cause, how it affects our daily lives, but it's a little different when we talk about it in terms of like personal situations. So, one second, I just want to check something. Okay, I'm not sure if it's coming up on Instagram, but so I wanted to just share a personal situation that I was dealing with a few years ago as it relates to stress. And at the time, I don't really think I realized or understood just how much it was affecting me. So this was when I was still working in a hospital. I was actually a nurse supervisor, and I just it was just getting to a time in my life where I just knew it was time to move on because the work environment was very toxic. I just felt like I was going through the motions, but I wasn't fulfilled. And the job itself was causing a lot of stress because there were a lot of just things going on, but also I just didn't feel good. And I think a lot of us could struggle or have struggled with that. Like going to a job because you got to handle your business, you got to pay your bills, but you just stressed out all the time. Like your boss, coworkers, or whoever, even if you work with the public, working with people is not always easy. So our jobs can be a major source of stress. So for me personally, my stress was contributing to anxiety, which was going on for a little while, like just affecting me mentally, affecting me emotionally, and like if you've seen some of my content already around stress, I describe that stress is a very normal part of life. Okay. When we have a new situation coming up, or a new, or just something different, something's changing, there's life changes, or even if there's things that we're preparing for, stress is a natural and normal part of how our body responds to certain things to get us really like get us in gear, so to speak, get us ready for whatever it is that may be coming up. So if you are in school right now or studying for some sort of like certification, if you know you have a test or an exam coming up, if you feel that stress, it's going to make you prepare better. It's going to make you study and focus. If you're at work and you know evaluation time is coming up, or you apply for a role like a promotion, you know that more than likely they're looking at your performance already. So you may just want to perform a little better. You may want to take things a little more serious. You may just want to tighten up a little bit. Let's say even it's like life changes, like you're about to be a new mom or a new dad, you are moving into a new house, you're just something, just it's a normal life thing and it's a positive thing, but you're feeling stressed. So it's just going to make you really like get a handle on everything and get some things in order. So that's the thing. We use the word stress very casually to describe like when we're feeling not that great, but stress is a normal part of our day to day. What happens is when we're dealing with situations, or it could even be relationships, like you in a relationship with somebody, or you have a friend where because of what they have going on, you just always feel stress. Those are things that we don't realize can really affect us. And if we're not getting a handle on it, it can really mess us up. So you may notice like mentally you start feeling kind of all over the place. You're feeling very anxious, like you're on edge. You might notice you're like irritated or agitated, but your body is definitely going to start to tell you some things. So you might notice your heartbeat is increasing, or you getting kind of like sweaty, even like tremors. Like some people might shake a little bit. Um, and these are ways that your body is telling you, hey, I'm under some stress right now. I need you to get a handle on it. So I think that a lot of us, well, back to my story about the job, I was dealing with a lot of those symptoms, I think, but I had become so accustomed to it. I had gotten so used to that feeling of just being on edge or being burnt out all the time. And that's what happens. Our body, it will compensate for a while. It'll say, okay, I'm not really supposed to be in this much stress for this period of time, but I'm gonna just do what I gotta do. And so our body is created that way, and it's a beautiful thing how our body always tries to stabilize us. But it's really up to us to make decisions to get away from whatever that is that's stressing us out. So for me personally, when I noticed that job was causing me to be very anxious, very on edge, I just felt like it was impacting my mental health like every single day, even on weekends. If you work 5 days a week, them 2 little days, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really giving you enough time to relax. And depending on how stressful your job is, even if you take a week or 2 weeks off, a lot of times you're thinking about going back to work. I mean, it's one thing if you have weeks or months off at a time, that's a little different. But I think sometimes, depending on the situation, even if you're away from that environment, you got to go back. So you like thinking you might be enjoying yourself, having a time of your life or relaxing or whatever. But when you start thinking about having to go back there, you get stressed out all over again. So it's really on us because our body can only do but so much, but it's on us to eliminate the stressor. And I know sometimes we don't really like to have certain conversations because then we have to take action. But it's like if you're noticing that you're getting headaches a lot, your blood pressure is through the roof, you're feeling anxious or agitated all the time, you always snapping on somebody, you are just feeling like, your stomach is bothering you, you can't sleep. That's a major one also, not being able to sleep. Like stress impacts us on so many different levels. So we truly have to start having these conversations and really doing what we need to do to put some things in order so we're not feeling like this all the time because we were not made to live in stress all the time. And the other thing too is I totally understand that we live in a world where every single minute is something happening. Something maybe where you from in your city or your town, political stuff going on all over the country, even things out of the country, things happening internationally that may worry us. So I'm fully aware that there is so much to be stressed about, but we have to do what we have to do to get a handle on it because we're the ones that's going to be impacted. So, with that being said, there's three things that I want to touch on when it comes to stress, and it's really for you. I want you to just start kind of having this internal conversation with yourself to see where you stand with some things and then make some healthy changes. So the first thing is identify what is causing you stress. And I don't think, let me see. I wish it was a way for me to like post these. I wonder, I'm gonna just see if I can put it in a chat. So identify what is causing you stress. And it could be various things. It could definitely be a job. And I understand that you can't just up and quit your job. Like, oh, this job's stressing me out, I gotta go. Like that's not always realistic. But you at least have to identify that that's what is causing you stress so that you can maybe start that conversation of what can I do about it? Can I change departments? Can I change employers? Is there something that I've been wanting to do on the side where maybe I can lessen my hours at this job? So again, I'm not saying up and quit your job because it's stressing you out. I mean, that's what I did. I'm just being honest. That's what I did. But it was also, I was being called to do something else. You know what I mean? So I didn't just up and quit with no plan or just, no sort of thought. I definitely gave it some time. I reflected on some things. And ultimately, I did resign, and my stress level decreased dramatically. Like that day to day anxiety and just always being worried or on edge, or just like that mental place of always thinking something bad is going to happen, that definitely was eliminated once I left that job. Like stress level went all the way down. So again, I know it's not always feasible with certain things to get away from it, but we have to at least get that awareness of what it is that's stressing us out. So the first thing I want to say is identify what is causing you stress. So there's a few things that it could be. It could be the people that we're around. It could be friends. It could be partners, people we're dating, even coworkers. Some people are just always negative. They always want to complain or gossip or, just talk about all negative things. And if you notice that that's causing you stress, then I think it's a good idea to try to just distance yourself from that because, again, your body is going to tell you what's stressing you out. So, like I said, if you're noticing your heart rate is going up, if you starting to sweat, your stomach start feeling a little uneasy, if you start getting very agitated or on edge, like our bodies tell us what's going on with us. We just have to pay attention. So first thing I'll say, like I said, identify what's causing you stress. It could be people, it could be your phone, because we on social media a lot and we have information going on all the time and we're just so aware of everything. And I'm not saying we should be like not aware, but there's a limit. There's a limit, of course. So people, phone, or habits, certain habits. So that's another thing. If we drink a lot of coffee, or caffeine, because coffee has caffeine, but you can also have caffeine in sodas, those energy drinks, or they have a lot of caffeine. If you work out and you take like that pre-workout, it has a lot of caffeine in there. Also chocolate, which I was so sad to hear that because I love chocolate, but chocolate does have caffeine. So sometimes what we are ingesting, what we're taking into our bodies, even if we're stressed or we're feeling on edge or maybe just a little anxious, what we're consuming is going to make it worse. And definitely alcohol. And, that's a conversation, that's an ongoing conversation that I'll be having about the effects of alcohol. So it's really important that if we're already feeling stress in some areas, to not like try to add on things or do things out of habit, like drinking coffee or an energy drink or a soda when we're already on edge. Okay. So I'm hoping that came up in the comments. So the first thing, identify what's causing you stress because we can't do anything if we're not being aware. Okay, the second thing is try and detach. And I'm not saying I'm not saying detach all the time. Oh, here we go. Can you see? Yeah, identify what's causing you stress. Try and detach. So detaching doesn't have to be forever, right? Like, for instance, let's say somebody is stressing you out. It could be a partner, it can be a spouse, a child, a niece, a nephew, a cousin, whoever, a coworker. Just walk away for a few minutes. Again, if you feel like I'm getting a little on edge, I'm not feeling right, just walk away. And this doesn't have to be forever, but just for a few minutes to kind of get yourself together. Same thing where, again, if it's on the phone, if it's social media, where you feel like you're getting overwhelmed because you reading everything and you seeing everything, put your phone down. And I know we're all very much attached to our phones, and it has become like our pacifier. Like, I think phones could be the new passies. Like, we just real dependent on it and we think it's soothing. But it can be, of course, it depends on what we're doing on our phone, right? Like, if you're listening to like some nice meditative music, if you are watching things that are like uplifting and positive and like, I'm not saying that that's going to give you stress, but I'm just saying if you do notice that you're on your phone and what you choose to watch or look at gives you stress and makes you feel on edge, just put your phone down. Give yourself a limit. I was actually talking to somebody not too long ago who said, as we get into the new year, they want to like really start some healthy habits. And one thing they realized is that they were just on their phone way too much. So they started putting a like limit, like a time limit on their phone, which I thought was great. And that's the good thing about technology. There's like a lot of things in place that we could utilize to try and kind of get ourselves like minimize what we feel is messing us up. And even habits. I mentioned this earlier, uh, that sometimes what we are taking in, what we're eating and what we're drinking, even what we're watching, what we're listening to, it can give our body a reaction that increases our stress hormone. And that hormone is called cortisol. So there could be things that are making our cortisol levels go up. And we just have to limit it, right? Like, we can't, I just don't want us as a people, whether you black, white, Asian, Mexican, whoever. So I'm not saying us as a people talking about black people, even though that's a whole nother conversation. Our black people and what we've had to endure that has contributed to our stress levels, what we still have to endure. But I'm just saying, I don't want us as a people to have to live in agony all the time. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something to stress over. There's always going to be something to worry about. So I just think we have to have these conversations about like how to get a handle on it so that we are being our best selves and so that we feel good. Because again, our body can only do but so much. It's up to us. Like, we have a free will to make choices and decisions. So it's really up to us to say, I don't want to feel like this no more. Yeah, I might have to do some things different. It might be a little rough, but I want to do something, I want to feel better and I want to be better. So yeah, try to detach, like putting your phone down, maybe taking a walk. And this doesn't have to be outside, obviously. Just getting away from whatever is stressing you out and limiting what we take in. And I'm hoping that you can see this in the comments. So that's number 2. And then the last one I have for you is discover what relieves your stress, because stress relief is a great thing. And there's all kinds of things that you can do. There's things you can smell, like literally it's things for all of the 5 senses. Let me see if I remember all of them. Taste, touch, see, hear, feel. There we go. So when it comes to our 5 senses, there's things that we can do in all of those areas that will help us feel better. So what we smell, like literally they have candles and fragrances and scents that help with stress relief. Okay, lavender is a good one. Eucalyptus is a good one. So if you have like a diffuser, get some essential oils, put those in there. They also have things you could spray like room sprays or candles, whatever, whatever you prefer. But you could smell something that just calms you down. You can listen to music, even like some of those apps like Calm, CALM. They have those like brown noises and white noise and just all kinds of like even natural sounds like rain, ocean waves, whatever you prefer. That kind of just it really works. It just mellows you. And now that I'm talking about that, I do remember back when I was working at that job that was like really stressing me out. I remember using Calm to go to sleep a lot. And that's crazy. I haven't used it in a very long time. At this point, I don't really need anything on to help me sleep, but I remember using it a lot. And I loved that they had like bedtime stories and I would be knocked out, so it's all kinds of options out there for you. So okay, so we talked about smell, we talked about what you could hear, watching things, is I don't know if y'all ever watch TV and the channel you watching has like something that is like a break for your commercial break. And I love it. Like I love that whoever invented that. I think it's on Philo. If you use that Philo app or whatever on your Fire Stick, like I love that. Like it'll be a bunch of commercials, but then it's like a break for your commercial break. And it's just so funny because it's like a little TV in there and it's like the TV is like showing stuff, but in the background it might just be just something soothing, something that's like, wow, like I'm not overstimulated anymore. It just can bring me back down. There's also things that we can feel like I know it's for the kids, but I think it's great for adults, like those little fidget things. If it's like those stress balls that some people use that I think is great. So like there definitely are is things out there you could feel. And of course it depends on the texture you prefer. Some people might like something a little fuzzy, some people might like something that's a little more like I don't know, like not shiny, but not fuzzy. I don't know what word I'm looking for. And then what I'm and then even in taste is the last one that I need to touch on. Teas, right? Green tea, jasmine tea. I know they have a little bit of caffeine in those, but it's not as much as coffee. I don't really want to encourage eating as like, of course, if it's on a healthier side, I'm all for it. But sometimes we can we can eat emotionally, and that can lead to some other health conditions as well as weight gain. So I don't want to just say, oh, you're stressed out, eat whatever you want. Because a lot of us already do eat for stress. You know what I'm saying? We may not realize it, but we're like emotional eaters. So lastly, discover what brings you stress relief. You can also dance, you can exercise, you can run if that's your thing, you can stretch, you can just, like I said, listen to music, and you can also do some deep breathing exercises. And we really don't know what like how breathing helps us when we breathe intentionally. Of course we breathe on a regular, our body just does it, but most times we're not paying attention to how like our breath. It's just like an automatic thing, right? But when we intentionally breathe, it really does bring us back down. I'm trying to tell you, I do it very often. If something just kind of, and it could be where just kind of it happens out of nowhere. You just get like, why am I feeling on edge like this? I believe in energies and auras. So sometimes you may not even know mentally what's going on in that room or what's happening to kind of cause you to be on edge. But when we intentionally breathe, it's great. It really is. So I hope you were able to gain something from this conversation. And I'm sorry if the 3 points kind of coming up crazy, but the first one was identify what's causing you stress. It could be people, it could be your phone, it could be certain habits. The second one was try and detach. So put your phone down for a little while, take a walk, even if again you're inside, but you can just kind of get out that room and just, walk around in another area. And of course, limit what you take in, limit screen time, limit certain conversations that are not positive, that you feel bring you down. And lastly, discover what relieves your stress, because everything doesn't work for everybody. I can tell you what I use to eliminate or minimize my stress, but they may not work for you. So, do whatever you feel comfortable with. So that's all I had for today. I kind of went over my time a little bit, but it was great conversation. And lastly, I want to offer you something. I do have a free gift for you, and it is related to stress. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, and I kind of hinted at it here. So yeah, but it's a free gift. So if you're on Instagram or on YouTube, go to my bio, go get Coach Ty's free gift, because I promise you it's going to work if you actually do it and you do it consistently. Okay. So thank you all so much for hanging out with me for these past 26 minutes. I will be back, Lord willing, next Wednesday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'll definitely work on trying to get it on all platforms and trying to make sure that I'm seeing all the comments. Okay. Please be well and try to minimize